Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum friends and subscribers. This is Mahmoud Sheikh, and from past few videos I'm working on developing a CRUD application using AngularJS, AJAX, PHP, MySQL and Bootstrap. In my last video I had discussed of creating Restful Webservices API to get the record from the database and fetch it uh, on our application here. This is where we were in our last video. We had successfully managed to get the records fetched from the database using uh, web service API, PHP web service, RESTful web service APIs. This one, okay, all post.php. And in this video we'll be going to uh, create a form to add a post, to add a blog post into our database, and we have to work on routing. Here we need to add another route so that whenever I click on this add post, it should take me to that form. Here I should display a form where I can add the text and create a new blog post. Okay, so for that we need to go to our editor, and inside here we need to go to our app.js, and we need to create another route. Copy this and paste once again. I want to give the name of my route as create post. Okay, and the HTML template, partial template that I'll be referring to this create post will be create.html, and the controller which will be responsible for displaying that partial template will be create controller. Okay, now so whenever I will be typing in like create post and hit enter, then it should take me to that create post controller. Okay, so right now I have written the create controller, and now I will go to my create page and I will just type in some h1 inside create post form. Okay, now save it, and let's refresh. Okay, app.js, and let's create this controller here, my app dot controller, and give the name of the controller. This is the name, create controller, and then we need to create an anonymous function. Okay, and then dollar scope dot info, let's say info create post. Okay, now let's use this inside our create.html div ng controller, and name of our controller was create controller, and here we'll paste that information which is info using the binding expression. Okay, now save it and let's refresh our page. Okay, let's clear the history first. Okay, here you can see it's displaying this text which is coming from this controller create post. I've created a controller with a name called as create controller, and which this controller is taking a template URL as create.html. So I have created a controller here, and inside this controller I have I'm passing my model or information to my info property of scope object, and with this I'm passing this information to this create.html, and here inside create.html I'm accessing that information using ng controller directive. And then whenever I'm referring this create post URL, I'll be getting this create post information here. Okay, so I have created another route with the name called as create post. So whenever a user type in / and this create post inside the URL bar, then they will be redirecting to this page. Okay, here I need to design a form for creating for adding a blog post. So for that I'll just go to all posts, sorry, to posts, and I will copy this and I'll come to my create.html and I will paste it here, and I'll just remove this table, remove this, and now I will refresh the page. You can see it's displaying me the these tabs. If I click on home, it's taking me to index page, and if I click on add post, it's taking me to create post page. See, now both our routes are working fine. Here we have created two routes. One is for creating the home page, and another one is for displaying. One is for displaying the home page, and another one is for displaying our index page. Okay, now you can see if I click on add post, now I have to create a form here. Let's create it. Div class. Okay, for creating this form, I will go to my bootstrap.com/paper/, and here I will get an option for forms. Click on that and just take the code from here. Copy this entire code. Copy and then paste it here, and remove the tags whichever you don't want in your form. I will remove all these things. Okay, now this one, okay, I'll keep this one text area. I'll remove this checkbox, and then okay, I'll make it as title and ID as title. Okay, ID is title, placeholder as title also. Okay, then here description and text. Okay, I don't want this, and this one is also copy and paste here. Description ID. Okay, then ID over. Okay, this one, and there should be one p tag with a class called message. Okay, let's make it as ID here. Now save it, and let's refresh our page. Okay, now you can see I got a form displaying on my add post page. So I'll delete this one also, and make it as h4 add post. Here, okay, and then change it to input type button, and ID as submit, and this one is, let it be default, and add post. Okay, and let's make it as a link, a href // and then class. Copy this, paste here. Okay, now save it. Okay, let's make it as back. Refresh the page. Okay, put type. Okay, value as cut it out and oh sorry, paste it, add post. Now delete this, save it, refresh. Okay, I can see if I click on home, I'll be taking to the home page, and if I click on add post, I'll be taking to the add post form. And I will make it as 2 columns. This one is 2, and let's make it as 6 columns. This one also 6. Sorry, this one is 6, and this one should be 6. Now let's refresh the page. Okay, there, this much is fine. And here we are left with the placeholder. Copy this and paste here. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, now we need to create a controller for adding the post, for developing the functionality of adding this post inside our database. Let's first go to our posts, and above this let's create H4 all posts. Okay, go to our home page. Okay, okay, whenever you make any changes inside your HTML or say PHP files, and those changes won't get displayed on your page, then just try to clear your cache or delete your history, and then will come and refresh your page. Those changes will start displaying on your page. Here, now let's come to our add post, and here I have to create a controller for this. Actually, we have already created a controller here, and we need to write some functionality to add a post inside our database. Okay, let's come here, and we have an ID here. We have as ID as description and ID as submit. Okay, now let's come to our app.js and delete this code and write hash submit dot click, and then we need to create an anonymous function, and then again we need to use the ID of our button which we have created. So as soon as the user clicks on this add post button, so I'm developing that click functionality here. I'm creating that click functionality here, so that whenever a user click on the submit button, then the post will get added into our database. So then where title equals to dollar hash title dot val. Okay, let's copy this, paste here, and then description. Okay, I'm taking the values, whichever values the user is going to insert inside this text and description text boxes. Those values will be collected with their IDs which I have created here. Okay, this with the help of these IDs I'm getting those values from the form, and here I need to give an ID of my form. ID equals to my form. Okay, I'll save it and come back to app.js, and here we need to create a variable with a name called as data string, and we need to take the form data. We need to pass the ID of our form which I have just created with a name called as my form dot serialize. Okay, the serialize method will take the entire form data whichever user will be entering inside this form. All the data will be collected and collected with the help of this serialize method and stored inside the variable called as data string. And then here I will be checking what should happen if a user is tries to click on this add post button without entering any of the text values. Okay, so I will check for the emptiness. If title is equals to null or description is equals to null, then I'll be displaying a message dot html. Okay, I'll be passing the ID of my uh, the element HTML element which I have created here. Okay, here in this p tag I want to display the message saying that fill all the details. With the help of this message ID, I'm displaying that message ID message saying that please fill all details. Okay, then inside else condition you need to write the code of adding that blog post inside the database. Okay, I'll just start dollar dot. I'll be using AJAX. Okay, now type of the request is post, and an URL we have to create a URL or a web service API for adding or storing the database, storing the post into database. So here we should type in the URL http://27.1/AngularJS CRUD, which is the name of our project, and then the web service folder, because inside web service folder I'll be creating. Here you can see here I have a web services folder. Inside this folder I'll be creating my RESTful web service API, and name of that API will be add post.php. Okay, once you have given the path, then attach your data string or the data that you are entering inside the form, and then false, cache false. Okay. Then success a function with a response having the result, and then message ID for displaying the message to the displaying appropriate message dot HTML result. Okay, now once this one is done, we need to clear the form fields. Okay, then at the end here need to return false. Okay, here I have created a controller with the name called as create controller, and inside this controller, so whenever user click on this add button, I have given an ID for this add button. Here you can see that ID with the name submit. Whenever user click on this submit button, ID that submit action will be checked with this ID of the ID which has been attached to the form element button. Whenever user click on that button, I will take the title from the form and description and store inside these two variables, title and description, and then I'll be collecting the entire data with the help of the ID that is given to our form. You can see we have a form with an ID, my form, and with the help of that ID I'm getting the entire data and storing inside this data string. And here I'm checking whether a user is trying to click on add button without entering the text inside the both of these text boxes. If the user is trying to click on add post button without entering the text and in description, then it will display a message saying that please fill all details. Okay, else if the user has entered all the details, and then I'll be taking you to this else block where I'll be processing the request, processing the data with the help of RESTful web service, which I'll be going to create. Okay, when the call is been made to this web service will take the data and store inside the database, and in return it will return a message saying that record has been saved successfully. Okay, now we need to create that web service. Just add post. Before that, we need to go to web services and then click on new file, and then save it as add post add post dot php. Okay, now let's open our php tag and include our database configuration file. Okay, and then we need to type in title equals to dollar underscore post title, copy this description. Okay, and we also need to store date of the post on which that post has been created. We need to also we also need to store date today equals to date of y, then month, then day. Okay, year, month, and day. And now we need to write a query to insert the record into the database. Insert into our table tbl underscore posts, and enter the fields title, description, and published on. These are the fields which we have created inside our database. Here inside you can see we have fields like title, description, and published on. Right now I have two records inside my database table, and then values like these values we need to pass here. Just copy this, paste here, copy, paste. Okay, copy, paste here. Okay, now we need to check whether our data gets successfully stored inside our database or not. We can do that by using the connection object that we have created inside our configuration for file, which is $con connection of query, and we'll be passing our query into it. I'll be checking equals to true, then echo post added successfully, else echo failed to add post. Okay, now you can see I have created a add post PHP RESTful web service. Here I am taking the values, whatever values is been entered inside the form, like title and description, and the today date for entering for keeping a record of the date on which the post has been created. And then I'm writing down a query for storing SQL query for storing that those details inside our database. And here I am checking with our connection object whether the database or whether the record is been updated inside our database, or whether the record has been added or not into our database. Based on that, the server will return the message saying that post added successfully or failed to add a post. Now save it and come to here. Okay, we will call in this add post, and let's come here to our page. Okay, now let's click on without entering any data. Let's see what happens. Okay, now it's showing me please fill all the details. Okay, now I will type in. Okay, I will take some text like say Magento and type here. Okay, and copy this. Paste it here, and I will click on add post. Okay, it's showing me some error saying that syntax error, unexpected colon, expecting comma on add post line 8. On add post line 8. Okay, here I have added a colon instead of semicolon. Let's just go to our home page and click on add post and Magento, and I will paste our text and click on add post. Okay, we are showing me some list of errors. Include once config failed to open stream. Okay, here. Okay, I am missing config.php. Okay, now save it. Press Ctrl S. Magento and paste the text, and now let's see. Okay, undefined index title and description. Okay, post added successfully. Here it's returning message as post added successfully. And now let's see what happens, whether data gets stored or empty data gets stored inside our database. Okay, here we can see data is not saved or stored inside our database. Instead of that, empty records is being stored inside the database. Now let's see what is the issue. Here it's returning me it's not able to identify this index and descriptions which I have added here. Okay, now let's. Okay, here we had completed the controller, and we have done our add post web service also here, and we are done with our form also. We need to give name as a title, name equals to title, and name equals to description. That's what we are not able to add a post inside our database. And now I fixed that problem. I have added and name equals to title and name equals to description. And now let's refresh the page, and now click on add post, and let's go to this Magento, add it, and then let's copy this code, copy, and type in here, and now we should get a message saying that post added successfully. Click on add post. Okay, now I got a message saying that post added successfully. Now if you go to home, you can see a newly added post is displaying on our table inside our home page. Okay, so this is how we can create a add functionality using AJAX and our add post web service RESTful web service API using PHP. Okay, here we have created a RESTful web service PHP API, and with this API we are adding or storing the records inside our database with the help of this controller. Okay, we have created a controller inside the controller with the help of AJAX, and we have achieved a functionality of adding a blog post inside our database. Okay, here you can see I have given a URL inside. This is the URL of my RESTful web service API, with the help of which I am storing the record inside my database. Okay, so yeah, this is all about adding a post inside our database using AngularJS, AJAX, PHP, MySQL, and Bootstrap. Okay, and in my next video I'll be showing you how to display this post whenever a user click on this view button. Okay, so we'll be going to achieve that functionality in our next video, and till then, goodbye. Don't go anywhere. I will be back in my next video with some more features to be added to this project. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, click on like button, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.